Oh, hello, YouTube. Today in the Naughty Librarian, we are recapping Violin by Anne Rice. Violin is one of Anne Rice's standalone books, and they're all like a generically kind of creepy horror vibes. This one is just outside of any other of her established universes like vampires and witches and werewolves. Oh my. I'm gonna tell you right now before we get into the nitty-gritty here, I am pretty sure Anne Rice was just going through something when she wrote this. She needed some therapy, and then this was it for her, because it's very obvious that our main character is Anne, because she has so many things in common with her. Like, the main character of this book is a woman named Triana, Anna, like, come on, Triana, who's 54 years old. Anne was also 54 years old when she wrote this book, and she considers herself like a little bit plump, pretty face, bangs all the time. Triana had a daughter that died, so did Anne, and also this book begins with Triana's husband dying. Now, Anne's husband didn't die till like 5-6 years after this came out, so that's the only difference. Everything else is like, that's just Anne in her book. But anyway, let's talk about what actually happened in this book. So like I mentioned, the book starts off with Triana's husband Carl passing away due to complications from AIDS. To say that Triana doesn't take it well is an understatement, because homegirl's having a full-blown mentee bee. She doesn't call anybody when she finds Carl's body. She just keeps the body in the house with her for like a couple days. She like washes it and wraps it up in sheets and like leaves it in the bed, and then she sleeps in the bed with it and like goes around the house like a kitchen rat, just eating like pieces of bread and like warm sodas. And it's not until a neighbor comes by to check on her, because she's like, hey, is everything okay? Things seem weird. And then she smells the smell and she's like, oh my goodness gracious. Luckily, this neighbor is a nice lady and just wants to help Triana. She's like, obviously you are going through something. Let me call the right people. I will help you. Why don't you sit down? And as nice as her neighbor lady was, I can't say the same thing about her family members. Triana has 3 sisters. One of them is missing. And I'm going to tell you right now, she's missing for the entire book. And they always wonder, is she even alive? Who knows? And her older sister, Rosalind, she's dope. She's really supportive and awesome, and she doesn't want anything for doing sisterly duties. She just wants to be there because this is her sister and she loves her. Rosalind, great. However, her younger sister, Katrinka, with a K at the end, Katrinka, is like the literal fucking worst. She's just like screaming around the house and yelling and like saying like she should have this house and like she's crazy. We need to lock her up at a hospital and get her tested. She probably has AIDS. So she's not helping at all. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, she also is the worst for most of this book. Towards the end, she's okay, but that's putting the cart in front of the horse. We'll get to that later. But yeah, Katrinka, not our friend. That all being said, Katrinka does have a point that Triana is having a full-blown mental crisis here and she needs to be in the hospital. They kind of talk her into it. So Triana goes in the hospital, she gets all of her tests and whatnot. Turns out she's completely healthy, just really sad is her only problem. So she discharges herself from the hospital. She doesn't ask anybody, she just like unplugs shit and leaves and goes back home. And as she's like settling in for the night, she sees like a mystery man holding a violin on her freaking porch. Just out of nowhere he appears and then just disappears just as quickly. And even when she can't see the violinist, she still hears like his music. So she's like, whatever, I'm going to bed. So she falls asleep and she has these like wild fucking dreams out of nowhere. So she like wakes up out of this nightmare that she was in and she looks around her room, and then guess who's sitting at the foot of her bed? Mystery violin guy. Now, Triana is rightfully very pissed off that he broke into her house and into her bedroom and like forced weird thoughts into her dreams via violin. However, there's not a lot she can really do about it because she's also 100% certain that homeboy is a ghost. And then they proceed just to have a fight basically about who has suffered the most in their life. And really, there's no winning this argument because it's just like, who is suffering more? Yikes. I guess you win. Here's your prize. Triana's done with it. She's like, get the fuck out of my house. Like, what are you even, why am I even like entertaining this? Oh my God, leave. Mystery violin ghost guy is just like, whatever. I'll do what I want. Not because you told me to, and just disappears. So he's just the worst snotty dude of all time. He broke into her house to insult her. Like, why? You know, there's a lot of questions in here in the book where you ask why, and you don't really get an answer for it. So the next day, Triana's just at home trying to grieve, relax. She's listening to Beethoven because that's what she does all the time. And neighbor lady shows up and she's like, hey, Triana, you know that like violin guy that keeps coming around? Because by the way, everyone can see him. It's not just Triana who can see ghost guy. It's everybody. And she's like, hey, guess what? He came over to like my society lady meeting and he was like, I'm having a special concert at the chapel and like you should all come and you should go invite Triana. So it turns out mystery ghost guy is actually named Stefan Stefanovsky. It's not the most original of names for a character. It's just his first name twice with an Ovsky on it, but here we are. Triana is intrigued by this because all of a sudden, like, Ghost Guy is, like, inviting her to stuff by her friend. Like, they're in middle school. What's this about? Evening comes around. Triana goes over to the chapel to see, like, Stefan perform. And Stefan starts playing, and, like, honestly, like, he is playing the shit out of this violin, but, like, at Triana. Like, he's being mean to her through violin. And all of this music is forcing Triana to have like these terrible memories of like her daughter passing away and her mother, which she has a lot of trauma from because her mother was an alcoholic and there was abuse and like, so she's just going down this awful memory lane of terrible things. And Triana's like, oh my God, fuck this literal noise. And she just gets up and walks out of the chapel. Ooh, I was like, oh, this is gonna piss Stefan off. Oh my goodness. So Triana walks on home. She goes to her house. She like closes herself in like her parlor and she just puts on her Beethoven and blasts that shit so she can't even hear the violin on the wind. So Triana is just relaxing with her Beethoven, and sometime later after the concert's over, Stefan materializes in her parlor and having a full-blown temper tantrum about it. Like, how very dare you leave my concert? And just telling her she's an awful person for, like, not being nice to him, even though he's been nothing but an asshole to her. And Triana is 54 fucking years old. She don't got time for this. So she's like, no, Stefan, shut up. You come into my house acting like an asshole. You don't need to be here because everyone else can see you. It's not just me. Like, you don't like me and I don't like you. Why do you need my fucking attention so bad? And Stefan kind of gets to the point eventually here. He's just kind of riddle talking. And from what I can tell, Stefan needs to play music to create suffering in others because he like feeds on that suffering himself. So I know what you guys are thinking right now. Wow, Stefan, great guy. He's literally the worst. However, this doesn't answer Triana's question about why he needs her attention specifically, because like you can make everyone suffer. Why do you need me? Do you just like it when I call you a fucking idiot? Like, this is a weird kink you have? Like, I didn't agree to be part of this. And like most mediocre dudes, when Stefan is like outwitted by someone, he just like doubles down on his stupidity. So he just throws more of a temper tantrum and just calls her a stupid bitch and like, I hate you, and like, you're not even good enough to play violin. You wanted to, I know you did, but you're not good at it. So meh, like just being a toddler about it. And Triana is just exhausted at this point. She's like, my husband just died. I'm not well. How about I just willingly give you some misery and then you can stop being such a dick? And not surprising to anyone, placate Stefan. He just wants her to be sad. He's like, all right, yeah, that'd be great. So Triana's like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. You can play your music. So she gets in bed and he starts playing his violin to like give her sad dreams. So Triana starts dreaming about her childhood in particular and her mother. And I've already mentioned her mother was like an alcoholic, and we get really in detail about like the abuse that was going on in this house. Her dad was never around because he was working, and the mom was a complete drunk and like, you know, falling asleep with lit cigarettes, and like the house is gonna burn down. No one was taking care of these children. The children were trying to take care of the mom, but they don't know how. And obviously this mom had a lot of other mental health issues that weren't ever addressed while she was alive, so it just kept compounding on itself to the point when Triana was 14, her mother died. And all of the trauma that Triana is reminiscing in her dream is actually too much for Stefan. He just stops playing and he's sobbing. So yikes, kind of backfired on you, bro. Triana managed to outsuffer you. So Triana like wakes up because the music stops and she sees the violin sitting there on the bed and she's like, this is an opportunity. She swipes it. So now she has the violin, and she has the bow, and she's like, oh, what, do I have your violin now? Why don't I just try playing it? Blue, blue, blue. And all of the misery she was still feeling from this dream she had, is just getting poured into this song that's coming out. And I guess the violin must be magic somehow because she just knows how to play it instinctively. And Stefan is so angry. He is back to toddler temper tantrum. Give me back my toy. And she's like, fuck you, finders keepers. I'm not giving it back to you. So Stefan's like, oh, you're not going to give it back? Well, fine. Why don't we go like take a trip down my memory lane and you can see what real pain is and how much suffering I endured. So now we're going to go on a long flashback to Stefan's life story. So we're gonna jump back in time to, I don't know, around the year 1800-ish. They didn't really say specifically in the book. And they're in Vienna, and they're watching Stefan's childhood house burn down. And Stefan is from a very wealthy Russian family, so it's a manor house that's burning to the ground. The only way out is through, so Stefan grabs Triana, and they're going into the burning building. And they see a young Stefan, like a kid-age Stefan, and he's trying to save all these musical instruments, because the only thing he cares about in the whole wide world is music. They literally have to drag him out of the house before it burns down around him and he dies. And the last thing he managed to save was the violin in question here. And then we're gonna jump about 10 years forward, I guess, and Stefan's a young man. He's now in Venice, and he is begging Paganini to be his new teacher. And Paganini's like, no, you are a spoiled rich kid. You are a Russian aristocrat. Like, your dad is a literal prince. Like, no. I'm not gonna let you run away from home to my house. Like, he's gonna send fucking thugs after me. Like, However, I am intrigued by you because you are very talented. You play a mean violin. So here, I'll tell you what. Go get your father's permission that you're allowed to study here and bring your Stradivarius violin here and then we'll see what happens. So Stefan, very excited, goes back over to Vienna to see his father. And he's like, Dad, I want to go play violin. And the dad's like, the fuck you do? And he just says no automatically. Like, Stefan, you are the firstborn male heir. And that means you, like, have to be loyal to the Tsar and do your military duty before, you know, eventually you inherit my title and take over the family. But Stefan doesn't want that. Again, he's like, I am an artist and I only love music. So Stefan tries to just take the violin. He sees it on the wall. He just tries to steal it and run away. But his father's like, no, you're not. And he grabs his cane and he just starts wailing on Stefan. And Stefan tries to, like, get up off the ground by grabbing a table. And the father like smashes his fingers with the cane. And I'm pretty sure you have guessed, you need your fingers to play violin, like a lot. So he basically just took away the only thing that Stefan loved, which is his music. And Stefan, who loses his shit, like, no, sees red, rage blackout. And since Stefan can't use his hands right now, he can use his legs. So he just starts kicking his father and he won't stop kicking the guy. The guy's on the ground. He just keeps kicking and he doesn't stop kicking until the father has literally been and kicked to death. And when Stefan realizes, oh no, I kicked my dad to death, I'm in a lot of trouble, he runs off into the night. And he's gonna go hide out with like his situationship, this girl that he kind of has sex with sometimes. And she's like trying to help him because he is wanted for murder. And like the Tsar really liked his dad. He was a prince, so he's like sending soldiers to come get him. However, as much as the Tsar really liked the father, his children did not like him as much. And Stefan had a sister named Vera who's like, hey, I'm on your side. I didn't like that guy either. So she like smuggles him money and stuff so he can escape Vienna and hopefully he can go find a surgeon to like fix his fingers. Like she's helping him get away. And see, here's the opportunity where Stefan could have improved his life drastically. Take the money, go somewhere, get your fingers fixed, buy a new violin. However, he won't do that because he wants his violin that the father took away and that they are keeping specifically as bait for him. They're literally keeping it in the father's coffin with him before they bury it. So if Stefan shows up to take it, they'll just catch him. It's like, Stefan, you just have one thing to do, which is to get the fuck out of Vienna, and he won't do that. So he goes to the fucking house in the middle of the night and he gets to the coffin, and as soon as he gets there, like, oh, I'm just paying my respects. I'm not stealing a violin. He grabs the violin, and as soon as he grabs it, like the whole thing is up. His other brothers and like a bunch of soldiers, they all burst out and they just start shooting at him, just not asking any questions, just firing. And Stefan grabs the violin and like pulls it to his chest, and then a bullet hits the violin and he's like, oh no, my violin! And he just runs away with it as fast as he can. And he just keeps running. He doesn't stop running for probably hours until he's well outside the city. And then he starts realizing something is very wrong right now, because he realizes that, hey, my hands are fixed, and also my violin doesn't have a bullet hole in it, and like I didn't get shot at all. So he thinks real hard and he figures out holding the violin right in front of your heart where a bullet hit killed you. So he has been dead since the first bullet hit him. So now he's a ghost with a ghost violin. So he just keeps wandering away, because what else is he gonna do at this point? And he goes around to like people, he's like trying to talk to them and touch them and get their attention, but like no one can see or hear him, so he's just invisible. And occasionally he sees like other ghosts, but they're not like him. Like they're like wispy little things. And like Stefan is like full color, solid kind of a thing. And this goes on for decades. He's just wandering around, not being able to talk to other ghosts or people. And then one day, he just happens to wander into a cemetery of all places, and he just comes across Beethoven's grave. And he is just so overcome with sorrow, because Beethoven was the one guy he really loved and he really liked. This was like his father figure. And now he's looking at his grave and he's gone, and like he'll never be able to see him again. So Stefan is so overcome with his misery that he just takes his violin and he just starts playing some of Beethoven's music on it, just to, you know, comfort himself at the grave. And when he finishes the song, this older, alive woman comes up to him and she's like, oh my gosh, I loved hearing your playing. It was so beautiful. And she like touches his cheek like she could see and feel him. So it turns out somehow Stefan playing sadness into his music somehow made him both visible and solid enough for other sad people to also see him. Since this is the first thing that's ever worked, Stefan runs with it. He keeps playing his misery into music to make other people misery, and when they're sad enough, they see him. And if he can keep them sad for long enough, sometimes they go mad and then like they're really sad after that. So he's just like, nom 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 nom, I'm eating your sadness. And then they kind of go through like a montage of him doing this to like so many people, just like finding a sad person and preying on them. And at this point, Triana's like had enough of all of this, and she kind of breaks out of the spell a little bit. And she's like, Stefan, you are fucking pathetic, okay? You wanted me to see your story of woe, your big tragedy. Like, you are a spoiled rich kid who got their toy taken away. And then you didn't learn anything but to feel sorry for yourself and make everyone miserable around you. So congrats, Stefan. You're king dick of the ass forest. And then Triana doubles down. She's like, you suck so bad, I can't in good conscience give this violin back to you because you're gonna use it to prey on people. So guess what, fucker? I'm keeping it. And she like runs away from Stefan in the dream world. And the fog kind of clears, and all of a sudden she's back in present day. So when all of this started, Triana was in New Orleans in her nightgown in like a warm climate. All of a sudden, now she is in present day Vienna in the winter in only her nightgown with a violin. That's it. And she's like, oh my God, what's happening? And she doesn't know what to do, but her hands are so cold she can barely feel her fingers. So she's like, okay, I'm just gonna play the violin because maybe it'll warm up my fingers a little bit. So she just starts playing. And apparently she plays it so beautifully, this magical violin, that like a bunch of rich people from the fancy hotel nearby come out and they're like, hey, you should come inside. Like, you're really good at violin. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'll come inside. You should call my lawyer and my family and stuff though too. Cause I swear, I know I'm insane, but like, I'm not like insane. And a little bit later, I guess she had fallen asleep because she wakes up and she's like in this really fancy hotel room. And the staff had already called her family and they're all coming to Vienna to get her. And this old man who like lives at the hotel, he's a count, and he was just so taken with her music that he's like, hey, I bought you this hotel room. It's paid for everything. Like, what do you want? I just want to like nurture your musicianhood. So Triana is just sitting in bed, confused, holding a violin in a death grip, and she's listening to the count, but in the corner of the room, she keeps seeing Stefan, who's still haunting her. However, no one can see him now. And he's just being a hateful little brat in the corner and calling her a talentless, thieving bitch. You don't know how to play violin. You're not going to play it. You suck. You can't play violin. She's like, oh yeah, motherfucker. I'm going to play violin. Everyone go in the living room. And everyone gathers around and Triana has her violin. She's like assuming the position. She's going to play it. And mainly just because she wants to shove it in Stefan's face. She's like, fuck you. I'm going to play this good. The violin basically plays your emotions. So instead of like playing with misery, she's actually thinking about her mother, but more so in a way of forgiveness and hope, and it brings out that same emotion in the people listening to her music. And you know, she finishes her song and everyone's like, ah, like they're all like so moved. And like apparently she was playing loud enough, a lot of people in the hotel heard. And the count, he's got a lot of rich friends, so he's like, I'm gonna call some people, you gotta record this. That's kind of what she does next. This book started with Triana mourning her husband, and now she has become a world famous violin player, like overnight. And she's traveling all around the world, and every night she plays a different song because she doesn't know how to read music. She's literally just playing violin from vibes. And honestly, all of this violin playing and traveling and seeing the world is kind of healing for Triana. Even her sisters come join her on tour. Rosalind, obviously, cool older sister. Katrinka, surprisingly, stops being a bitch. Probably because her sister's going all over the world in 4-star hotels and like buying everything. Likely. But whatever, we're gonna take what we can get because Katrinka's not being a bitch. And you know what? Everything's going pretty okay. So you know the other shoe's gonna drop anytime now, right? And one day, Triana, she gets a letter from a Stefan Stefanovsky. In the letter, he's inviting her to come to Rio de Janeiro to play a concert. Now, I didn't talk about this earlier, but Rio de Janeiro is like a place that Triana has never had the courage to go to. And it's kind of a weird reason why, because after Triana's daughter died, one of her neighbors that she lived near when she had her daughter, she wrote her a letter one day and she's like, hey, Triana, Lily, your daughter, she appeared to me and she told me that she was reincarnated in Rio. And Triana doesn't take this well. She doesn't believe it, first of all. And also she's like really jealous because why would Lily choose to show herself to you and not me? So it's kind of become this like point of trauma here where she's like, I can't go to Rio. I don't know. It's just a block for her. But Triana's like, fuck it, I'm not letting Stefan get the best of me. Let's go to Rio. So she and her sisters and her entourage, they all go to Brazil. And she goes around the city. There's probably a couple chapters of her just exploring. And also it gives her the opportunity to like come to peace with the fact that Lily's gone. And as soon as Triana starts feeling better about things, guess who shows up? It's fucking Stefan. Stefan is almost entirely invisible. He's very wispy and still just as much of a bitch as ever, okay? He's like, you're gonna fail and you suck and I hate you and I want my violin back. It's just one note at this point. All he does is toddler temper tantrums every goddamn day. However, Triana came to Brazil to play a concert, so it's time to play. They get there and she starts playing and Stefan appears to her and he's trying to like conjure up these visions. He's putting like these like sad thoughts in her head. She keeps seeing visions of Lily, of Carl, her father, her mother, and like just all these people. And it's just like a big torment storm that Stefan is providing for her. But again, Triana's not gonna let Stefan make a bitch out of her. So she's like, I'm gonna play harder and I'm gonna like get out of this. So she just keeps playing. She's kind of coming to terms with all of the grief and loss she's had. And she plays so hard, she's looking for like the light, you know, to come out of this. And then she finally sees it, like this big bright light opens up. And she's like, Stefan, you need to look at the light. But he doesn't look at the light. However, it does have an effect on him because all of a sudden, like, he just stops being spiteful. It all just drains away and he disappears. And after that, Triana is going on like a little mini tour throughout Brazil. So she plays a bunch of other concerts. And then maybe like a week later, she gets another letter from Stefan. And this one, very different in tone. He's not being a snotty little brat. He's like, listen, we need to talk. Come to this abandoned hotel in the rainforest. He promises he's not doing this to hurt her. He has like something to say. So she's like, fuck it, let's go to the hotel. Which like, if we were in a horror movie, girl, this is how you get killed. But anyway, Triana, she still goes to the old abandoned hotel. And honestly, she's a little fucking pissed off at him. She's like, you are an asshole to me every fucking day, and I provided you the fucking light of the afterlife, and you still didn't go into it? Like, I'm doing you a solid, bro. What is your problem? And Stefan is honestly very changed at this point. Like, he's actually kind of sad. Like, he's like, oh, I was a dick. Like, he feels bad about it. Like, his spiteful brat energy just got sucked away into the light, and he's being really kind and peaceful, and he's really grateful to her. And he tells her that, yeah, you brought the light, and I literally see the light all day, every day. I can't see anything but this light. Like, it's still here with me, but I'm afraid to go into it. Because if I go into the light, what if that pulls the violin with me and then you won't have it anymore? What? He's actually trying to give her the violin now. Like, Stefan has had a 360 turn. And even as shitty as Stefan has been to Triana, like, this whole time, she still has kindness in her soul. And she's like, you know what? It was never really about playing violin. I just wanted you to learn a lesson. So she just gives him his violin back. So he has it and he's like really excited that he has his violin back, and he just kind of fades into the light finally. He goes into the light. And now Triana is alone at an abandoned hotel in the rainforest, sans violin. So Triana goes back to the hotel. She's just gonna move on, I guess. And guess what, everybody? Remember I said she had a missing sister and they were worried about her this whole book? Missing sister fucking shows up out of nowhere. They finally find her, which is amazing. That's all really Triana wanted. However, she still is contracted to do more shows as a violinist who doesn't have a magical violin anymore. So it's kind of the moment of truth, you know? Can I actually play violin or not? So Triana gets the violin that was closest to that Stradivarius that she has, and she like tunes it up and she starts playing. And guess what? Triana can still play just as amazing on that violin and not the magical one. And then she feels happiness in this moment and it comes out through the song and it kind of just fades away. The end. That is the end of Violin. So like I was saying, Anne was going through it in life, I feel, because she wrote this book because she needed to get it out of her. So a lot of like healing and moving on from grief, I think, is the main theme of this book. I thought it was gonna be more demon-y or something, or maybe it was a cursed violin, but it's like, no, it's just spoiled brat ghost violin, I guess. And then Stefan had a very like poorly crafted redemption arc, because all of a sudden he's just nice for like one page and the rest of the book he's a shithead. So I'm glad he turned nice eventually. It's a weird book and I don't really know how I feel about it. I guess it's fine. I don't hate it, but this feels very personal. I don't know. That's the vibe. It feels very almost like a fictional diary entry, kind of. But I read it. It has its moments, I suppose. I like Triana, so there's that. I don't know, I'll give it like 2.5 stars. It's fine, I guess. Let me know in the comments down below, what was a character that had a shitty redemption arc? Much like Stefan. Like, which one is it for you? What book was it? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos or a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.